Welcome. 1 minute's gone by. You're the first here. 9,500 subscribers, which has been frozen for years. After 10 minutes yesterday, I only got 2 people. Funny that. If you haven't been here before, I'm the only flat earther who has all the physics to the earth. I can break it all down, how it all works. Expose the globe BS. So we'll just hang in there for a few more numbers and then we'll get into it. Brain does one thing, my hand does the other. You read that? Well, I've got 7 people. It's 4 or 5 more than yesterday after 10 minutes. Okay. We're going to talk about this. Funny how it's spelled like they say, sag. Sag. It's about sag. Yet they pronounce it Sagnac. I didn't break it down to see what it meant, actually, letter-wise. But anyway. So it's all about this Sagnac effect is the calculations they do according to the magnetic field curvature. So that's the magnetic field curvature, because nothing straight in magnetic fields, right? It's all curvature. So this effect here is the drift west, known in the Bible. Well, they call it in the Bible a plowshare. So we're going to draw it. Okay, we're going to draw the flat earth system, how it works. So right in the center here of creation, that's creation, and you can start with the yod. You go look up the yod or the yid or something in Hebrew. It all starts with the one dot, then it goes this way, and then it goes this way. So basically you start with the seed of creation, the mustard seed, or where science calls for the Big Bang came from. Okay, it starts there. So it goes out in both directions, which would then form the 2D plane. Okay, the 2D plane. And at the center of creation, they've still got the center of creation right there. So that's the black hole. The center of creation is the black hole. So then they'd say, then it becomes 2 yid, or whatever they say. I think it's yid. Yid. So they put a dot here, and then they put a dot here. Okay? And then they start talking about this dilation or expansion or something rather. But it's all referring to this, the 3D depth that gets created from the 2D plane. So we go back to the center Arctic. Hidden in the center Arctic here, where we cannot get to, it's all magnetically locked, is the central vortex with the S cycle motion within it. Everything's going around daily, 15 degrees per hour. Oh, well, it starts at 15 degrees per hour. Up on the 2D plane here, with the sun, because there's the black hole. And right there on the horizon of the black hole is the actual sun of creation. And it's like this. It's the baby's body with the head. Okay? They draw a baby. Okay? Or you can consider this as the dung beetle in the Egyptian mythology. But there's more to that. I'm going to expand on that soon. Okay, so you've got the sun on the horizon of the black hole. And this sun is connected to the Milky Way that comes out into our created realm. Because this is all back hidden. You don't see it. Okay? It's magnetic depth, 3D. You see it from the top. You don't see it from the side. Okay? But everything in here gets projected into our night sky at night. Anyway, what comes out here is the Milky Way, one end of the Milky Way that comes over into our realm. And then you've got the other end of the Milky Way that comes down into here. So you've got one Milky Way there. And this is the galactic bulge we see at night in the night sky. They say the black hole's there. Yeah, there's the black hole. If you want to look at it in 2D form, because if you're looking at the Milky Way at night, sort of like that, you got the big galactic bulge here sort of thing. That's that there, right? They say it's the black hole. But we're seeing it all in a well, the image is 2D, but it's a 3D projected image. So the black hole is representing the entire length, not just there, because you're not looking at this 2D plane where it's just a dot in the middle, which would be the black hole. So we're now out in our created 3D realm. So we've come from this place in here, all this depth, which is only exposed by looking through this way, you see. There's your S cycle, the Superman symbol in the north, because they know all about this. This is where Superman's story came from. So, you know, that physicist, what's his name? No, can't think of his name. Got a Nobel Prize for his work, 60 years work on the on the basis of that being the black hole in the Milky Way. Of course, it's the black hole. Flat Earther figured that one out within a couple of months. His name's Lindsay Harris. So there's the black hole all the way through there in 3D. Otherwise, you go back to the 2D plane, bang, it's a dot. It's a dot right there. The Yid, the beginning, God. Basically, there's a lot to it though. So this boils down to either being 1, and then they go to mention 10, and they also mention 5. And in the spirituality, this 5 involves the 5 holy days. The Egyptians talk about the 5 holy days. There's only 5 holy days that the moon can give spiritual birth to man on earth. It's all astrophysics and it's fact. But it's all told esoterically. It's Kabbalistic knowledge. Okay? It's what they describe as the tablets, or Thoth green tablets. in this Egyptian Jewish story, they've got the 5 tablets. There's two sets of tablets, 5 and 5, 2, which is back to duality again. The 2, okay, come together to unite. Well, all the magic is in here. That's the Physicapiscus with the many names to it. But all of religion is about that point there. I'm wandering away from the video, obviously. Let's get back to the Sagnac. So there's the creation story. It's all hidden in the center Arctic. If you haven't seen the proper flat earth models, go to my YouTube channel, okay? Tomb of Illumination. So here's the plan view of the earth. You've got to start with the dead center. It's hidden. We can't get to it, and it's hidden in the center north, Arctic. Then we have the tropical gap. That's the dielectric, the gap in a 3-phase induction motor. The magnetic field swaps, changing magnetic field, because we've got the southern hemisphere here and the northern hemisphere. Okay? So we can call this a northern hemisphere, or a north pole and a south pole, but that's a little bit deceiving. And this is what they've done with the globe. They've deceived us. They've bullshitted us. They're trying to tell us they're trying to tell you that there's their ball. It's on a tilt. There's your south pole. There's your north pole. Well, that's an outright lie. That's the north pole. This is the north pole. But you've got to understand the weak and strong force. There's your south pole, and there's your south pole. So there, you've got your own cycle here in the north. You've got your own cycle here in the south. Well, that goes back to creation, where you've got the 1-star rotation in the north, 1-star rotation in the south, and over the year, this one moves right up to there. And there, boom, right there, you get the Physicapiscus. It's all celestial. These stars move north. But have you ever seen those white marble statues? What do they call them, statues? Of a man under a veil, or a woman, Mary under the veil. Everything's hidden under this veil. It's hidden under here. And I'm not even sure if we can even see the stars. It's known in science they do move, but whether they're describing it correctly as I know it, and the ancients have documented it, I'm not sure. But these stars move right up to there actually, and then recede back. So it comes right up to the Arctic point, and then recedes back. This is the tropical cycle, tropical sun cycle, which is the sun dilemma. It moves north and then back again, north and then south. As an overall cycle, which goes like this. That actually comes right up there, and that goes right down to there. The crossover point is right up there on the boundary of Cancer. Okay? That's an overall cycle. But of course, we're not taught that. We're only told, oh, look, which way do they do it? I think they do it this. They just draw the sun's dilemma and the tropical gap here. And that's how we think we're seeing it, okay? But it's all deception. You can't trust your brain or your eyes, especially when you've been indoctrinated all your life to start with. These sun dilemmas, you've got one out here. Epis, that's no good. Each hemisphere has its own sun dilemma. Because our sun comes out of the south. That's where our sun comes from. The sun, that's represented, that dot in the middle represents that's a pomegranate. It's all described in the Bible. This is the pruning hook. So it starts like this, the pruning hook. and then goes around there to a plowshare. That's the plowshare. Go look what a plowshare looks like. It's a wave. There's the pruning hook. So there's a pruning hook end. There's your you could say the plowshare is the part we see. We don't see the pruning hook. And then they put the pomegranate seed in there, see? So these are infinite all the way around the earth. And that is the cycle of our sun in the southern hemisphere. It comes around like this and goes over us and goes right back around and back in like that. That's one cycle. It's a southern hemisphere cycle. If you worked on a fixed reference point, like one meridian line on a fixed system, like maybe star trail photography, you're always getting a circle here, aren't you? There's your circle, okay? But you're not seeing a full rotation of stars, are you? Because they're all drifting that way. This rotation here comes from that center vortex I drew earlier on. And this drifts this way. All those stars come into your horizon and drift out of your horizon. This is quite obvious. You see it in star tracking photography. Track a star, and it's going all the way around here. But the star actually does this a cardinoid loop in here as well, like that. Because it's all to do with that vortex I drew earlier. Go down and into the spiral and then back up and out. And that's what the moon's doing every month. That's what the stars do every night. And that's what the sun does every year. The daily, monthly, and a yearly cycle. You know where the weekly days come from. The 7 days of the week come from this point here, Cancer. This crossing point here of the sun's end limit, Cancer into the tropics, 7 days. In religion, it's still physics. Religion is based on physics, okay? 7 days of purification. What do they mean by 7 days of purification? Well, the magnetic field declination coming out of the north, because it's spiraling out like this, look, curving field lines. Out of the south, they come out in the curving field lines. Okay? Like I drew in here, like it spirals out like that. They're infinite. Okay? But there's no curving magnetic field lines in here. There's no declination. It's dead straight. From there to there is dead straight. But because we get to this boundary line, there's a bit of fluff, I call it fluff, comes into the tropics by 7 degrees, 7 days. So you deduct from the 47 degrees of the tropics 2 sets of 7 degrees. What does that come to? Wow, look at that number. Goodness gracious me. Okay? 7 days of purification comes into here. And then if we're not working on two sides at once, that religion's about one hemisphere going into the other, and when 2 cycles, there's 2, like I said, there's 2 of these, one in each hemisphere, okay? So you work on the one in the northern hemisphere, this one here, you're coming out of winter, so which means the sun is dying, which means Christ is dying on the cross, on this crossover, okay? But to be purified, there has to be 7 days of purification before the magnetic field is purified, pure magnetic cycle, there's no declination, direct. This is what they say, going into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. Going into the desert, deserted of magnetic flux or declination. Get it? Well, the Jews have the Omar, 49 days, come 50. Well, there's 47, right? Well, when you get into this deep, I explained all on my Patreon, you find out what the extra 2 days are, the 2.2 days or 2.5 days. It's all physics. All religion, they all worship the sun, but they don't tell you that. It's all about the sun. All their ceremonies are all days connected to this thing here. The sun's motion, the tropical cycle, the tropical year. Okay? Okay, back to the Sagnac. Let's clean this board here, okay? You see, have you read this? Read that. Think about it. Period. Only the brain dead believe in a globe. They're consciously brain dead. They don't know it. Does a zombie know he's brain dead? Not until he wakes up. They all think they're clever, don't they? But they're not. They know nothing. They know nothing about everything. Where we going? Okay, so these curving magnetic field lines, the wind is in the magnetic field. The magnetic field is in the wind. So obviously it varies. It's not that consistent on the earth, is it? Because the wind's all over the place, because you've got high and low pressure zones, okay? But what they've done, how they came up with GPS, is knowing that one of these is fixed as it moves. It's geometrically, well, perfect, I suppose you could say. And that one golden ratio, this is what time dilation is. It's connected to it's called space-time. Space and time's moving. Curving space-time, I should say. Curved space-time. That's what they're referring to, because the golden ratio is the Milky Way, which houses the sun. Okay? My red pen's died. So let's just refine this up, clean this up a bit. Give me some space. Okay, so let's just take one of these pruning hook, plowshare, which is the golden ratio, okay? And this represents where the sun comes from in the southern hemisphere. Now, let's freeze this in time. So they keep referring to a fixed frame of reference. The sun is there, infinitely on that one line at that moment in time. Okay? Get that in your head. At any latitude, that will be your image of a sun, your personal image of a sun within your personal arc of horizon. You stand there, 90 degrees to zenith. So let's say that was midday. Everybody on every latitude working on this curve, space-time curvature, which is always moving west, will have the same time, midday, that exact same time. So you're on that latitude, that's your latitude there. Look, the latitude's moving west. Yeah, so that guy there, his time is the same time as this guy down here. Okay? This point here is 66.6 degrees, or 5, because the sun's offset by roughly 1 degree from the centre of the universe. You go back to the centre black hole of creation, the sun's here, and the sun's moving around the black hole, just like Polaris does, because Polaris is the nighttime image of the sun. It moves in that small circle. Because people can't get their head around this. Okay? So there's 1 degree, or could be 0.6, off that centre. They know that. Science knows all this. 0.1 to 0.7 degrees off the centre. And the Arctic, that's the Antarctic is mirrored, is an inversion of the northern hemisphere. It's mirrored. This is the magnetic mirror. The tropical zone here is the magnetic mirror. Right there, you could say, is the mirror. Everything is flipped. It's mirrored. Or you could just say, there it is on that side, and then, well, you know, you take the northern hemisphere. There's your northern hemisphere, and then you go like this. Bang. So there's north. There's north down there. Well, there's north there. And then you go straight over, flip it down, and bang, there you got south. That's basically what it is. It's mirrored. There. But you've got to understand, the image of the sun that we're led to believe, because we all look to the north, you know, if we're in the south, we look to the north to see the sun. And if you're on the north, you look to the south to see the sun. That image is coming from here for a southern hemisphere dweller, and from in here for a northern hemisphere dweller. Like, it's the same. It's out here, see? Comes out of here, but it's seen in here, moving in and out of here. It all comes from behind us. It's part of this Plato's analogy, cave analogy. You're looking at shadows on the wall. Until you wake up, you're never going to figure it out. I'm trying to help you wake up. And it's coming out of there to there, coming from behind you. Okay? I'm the first person in the world to be standing here filming the full moon at night, 8:30 at night, 8:30 p.m, when a chopper came along over here and upset the atmosphere over here, and the moon started shimmering, because it's a projection. It's a holographic projection. And that too comes from south. This is south of me. This is looking north. Okay? All the celestial bodies are holographic projections. It's on film. I didn't know what I was filming because I was just talking about something in particular. It wasn't until after I realized, oh my God, look what I've caught. I didn't even mention it in the video because, or in the comments I might have, or, you know, in the title. But when I'm talking, I'm not even mentioning that, I think, because I was concentrating on doing something else at the time. Bloody hell. So that would be a great experiment, because this chopper was upsetting the atmosphere. Moisture in the atmosphere was how we get the projections into the sky, right? And they're only within a couple of hundred yards of the observer because it's all connected to your pupils. It's a focal point, okay? The focal point of that energy, that pressure zone or something or other, because it all boils back to your personal arc of horizon. Man standing here, you only see so far, right? Supposedly 3 miles. There's 3 miles there, 3 miles there. What do you think that is? It's 3 miles. That's why we get the sun go over like that and not change sizes. Despite what dumb flat earthers keep telling you, the sun does not change sizes, okay? Even science tells you that. They're not always lying. They hardly lie. They don't lie. They just manipulate their text to lead you in this globe theory BS direction. But it all boils down to this system here. And I can explain all of it when the globe theory can't. They can't explain everything. Like the southern hemisphere stars moving north. Well, how did all the ancients know about this? Because I've broken it all down and can explain it easily. Well, no, hang on. Let's back that up. I can't explain anything easily because people just aren't awake to it. But the system here, the Physica Piscis, they knew all about it. Well, we've got these white stone statues of male and female under the veil. This is unification, singularity. You could say this is male, this is female, okay? The world's dual. But here's the Trinity. Here's the secret right there. What's it all about? Well, is man not X and X and Y chromosome? Eh? Do you think religion's all about something going on in here? This thing here that's hidden under the veil? Finding unification? Yeah, that's what a religion's all about. But people are too ignorant. You know how many times they use the word ignorant in all the Gnostic, what do you call them? Gospels, and all the Gospels. Have you read all the Gospels? Have you read the Nag Hammadi? How many times they mention the word ignorant? Mate, there's a better word for ignorant when you think of this thing. It's this word down here. It's called brain dead. Only the brain dead would ever believe in this thing here. Okay, let's get back to this Sagnac. So the Sagnac is basically this drift. Let's get all this out of here. Is this magnetic field 15-degree motion where they tell you it's the ball spinning. It's the magnetic field coming out of here. Let's rub all that out too then. Everything comes out of the Arctic. The south is just mirrors. You just concentrate on the northern hemisphere. Everything's spiraling out of the center black hole of creation, where the aurora borealis comes from. It comes out of here. So this is always turning 15 degrees per hour. So if you stick with the northern hemisphere, one of them, the consistent one, is the one where you'll find the sun. It's that end of the Milky Way. And like I said, when I drew it down here, they can confirm all this with zenith cameras. Like they have to get someone standing here at this latitude or there, all with their zenith cameras. And, there'll be a bit of playing around to try and get the right location at the right time to form this perfect golden ratio, okay, of where the sun is at that exact time in all these latitudes. This is where all GPS comes from. GPS is knowing all this because they know the distance from there to there or there to there, whether it's 111 kilometers per degree, or arcs of degrees, because a side elevation of the Earth is like this. Oh, it's not quite. I'll go over like this. It's basically the magnetic flux of the Earth is like this. It's just what you get on a magnet. On a magnet, take a ring magnet. It's basically the shape of the flux overall, okay, like that. But it goes like this, down there, and up and over there like that. And that across there is flat. Go get yourself a ring mag and put some filings on it. That's what happens. It looks like this over here, a sea anemone. Okay, you put your finger in there, it sucks on your finger. Well, what's this Milky Way? That's actually a suction pipe because it comes right out to here where our sun is. And when the magnetic field comes around like this and the magnetic field comes around like this, well, that's when they get pairing. In quantum mechanics, when they talk about pairing, electron pairing, the high energy state. So we draw the tropics here. Tropics. So this is just a slice through here, right? But it's all relative to your arcs of degrees, so it's all equal. That's looking at the whole. If you could look down on the whole of Earth, because it expands out to the south and contracts to the north. So that's on a whole. But if you do it this way, everything's relative to the observer, like a Mercator map. All the arcs of longitude are parallel. Then you draw it like this. What we're getting at? Okay, so the magnetic field comes up here to there. Comes up here to there. So it's always coming out of the Arctic. It's always coming out of that Arctic. They're both North Poles. The South Pole is here. That's the South Pole where they go down into the ground. It has its own magnetic cycle over here, and that has its own cycle. Well, it's actually right around in the north here. And then the south, it's the same. It's the same all the way around. You've got to consider one of these cycles here on every man's meridian. Every man stands on a meridian north to south. That's his cycle. If he's kept a fixed reference point, that's his cycle. That's all he's concerned about. But at the end of the day, it's always moving in and out. But he's getting his rotation there. You see that in star trail photography. And there's one, the northern hemisphere is always fixed in the north. But this one, these stars just turn in here, right? But these stars complete revolution around the northern hemisphere. You got to think of all this time dilation. The slice of the pizza, from there to there, it's all relative. From there to there, it's all the same. Time over distance, from there to there, is all equal. From there to there, say 10 minutes. From there to there, 10 minutes. From there to there, it's 10 minutes. Because everybody, the expansion is all relative to the observer. So the observer is this size there, and this size there. So it's all relative, isn't it? So when they start talking about flight times and all that bullshit, just ignore them. They're a bunch of monkeys. Okay? So back over to here. When the energy is highest, it's up here. And this is where you get the pairing where the sun is. Bang. Because this is what illuminates the sun. In our 3D realm of belief, known physics, okay? It's coming from there. You could say this is the... no, I won't go there. Okay, there's your pairings. That's the highest energy state. Boom, feeds the sun. But not all, we'll call them electrons flowing, okay? But not all of them are going to reach the sun. Only at a particular point, when the sun comes around, or goes around, bang, there, will it find pairing. Well, these ones, all the field here and here and here, or there and there and here and there, they're not. So they fall straight down into the ground. They fall straight down to the ground to a lower state. They find a pairing in a lower state before they cross the tropics to go up and do it again. Hopefully finding this point here. And in physics and religion, this is marrying, getting married, because you've got a male and a female. There's a strong force and the weak force, finding a pairing. Okay? And this is the marriage. And if you're lucky enough, you're up here, you get taken over through there. What's this thing here? What do you call that aisle? You get carried, you walk down when you're married, hand in hand. What's this thing representing? You're going up to the what? Not the pew, or what do you call it? Up to the preacher man who's going to anoint you. You're anointed, all right. If you can make it here, you're anointed. So there's the pairing, okay, in physics, in marriage, religion, whatever. Otherwise, they die, carrying along the ground thou shalt go, because this represents a snake, okay? And then to go through it again, hopefully this time. Otherwise, no, down they go, round. This time, no, down again, round here, up there, this time. So this pairing here, one illuminates the sun because of the asymmetry between the fields. It's all asymmetrical, right? The magnetic field in the south is different to the magnetic field in the north. Go look it up. So the asymmetry sets the spark, the sun, and within the asymmetry you find balance, because let's say it's a 3 to 2. So 2 and 2 are going to find the balance. 3 and 2 create the friction initially for the sun, but then the balance comes out of it, which goes back over and feeds the stillness, the black hole of creation, the Father, where Earth is from. Earth came out of here. This stillness at the center of the vortex, the center of a tornado, hurricane, the eye, whatever, stillness. Earth is from there. This is why Earth's plane is fixed and stationary. It all came about from the dual system. You have one system coming up this way. This is one end of the Milky Way. And then you've got the other end coming in from over here, two ends. The low pressure zone, low pressure. Okay? So there's Earth, the plane. We have this force, which they call gravity, in this system. The two coming together, that's the inertial plane. That's neutral. That is the core. That is the low pressure. Low pressure within the center of the Earth. So we don't know how thick Earth is, do we? But somewhere in here is that dead center low pressure, where that force is trying to get to, and this one's trying to get to find equilibrium. And equilibrium creates stillness. That stillness is from the black hole. Stillness, that's why Earth is fixed and stationary. It's still because it represents the black hole. And this is basically, think of creation, just think of high pressure, high pressure, high pressure. It takes two high pressure fields rushing to the low pressure, and they just spiral around it. They can't get into there. They can't get into the core, can't get into the black hole center. All the action's around the horizon. This is why we look at our sky, and you see, oh, the stars are going that way in the south, and they're going the other way in the north, because they're both going in the same direction. They're both going like this. But look, you look this way. Oh, it's going what? Anti-clockwise or clockwise? Well, the south is going clockwise, and you look this way, and that one's going anti-clockwise. But, you know, oh, should I go that way? They're going like this. They spiral into each other like this and spiral around the black hole. And then that's back at creation, right back at hidden in creation. But we're not creation. We're not the creator. We are the created realm now. We have to imitate it. So where do you think that imitation's coming into that picture? What's coming in here? What's coming in here? Hydrostatics from the Arctics. High pressure meeting the low pressure of the tropics. And what? Look, there's our sun. Well, there's the sun of creation back in here. There's our sun at the other end of this Milky Way. That's the image. And it moves around the Earth 15 degrees per hour. This thing here is moving around the Earth in the southern hemisphere 15 degrees per hour. Up here you've got your own moving west 15 degrees per hour. Zenith cameras and spectroscopy can determine this golden ratio here. They know it. That's what time dilation is, and that's where Einstein got his relativity theory and all that shit from. It's all time dilation. Everything is dilating because everything's expanding out. But here, I probably lost you by saying that. You've got to understand is this dilates, Earth dilates out like that, like a Gleason map. Okay? This is one way to consider it. Otherwise, what they've done with the globe idea is they've gone like this. They've gone, there's the tropics. They have gone, there's the northern hemisphere. They have gone time dilation, expansion to there. And then they've gone what have they done? Contraction. Yeah, okay, so they've gone there, so it's equal across to there, equal across to there. Okay, it's from there to there, it's equal. It's nice straight line, no declination, no magnetic field curvature. Once you get past your 7 degrees of purification I was talking about before. Okay, and then they go like this, contraction. Because this being relative to the observer, you're contracting with the field, is exactly the same as if you're expanding with the field, right? But this is what it's doing in reality. It's expanding. Because it's all about like sound waves. It all comes out of the center. It's what the ecliptic plane is, the Ptolemy representation of the ecliptic plane. Circles, concentric circles. All the planets are out here, represented as that frequency band. It's a focal point of that energy, right? Right out here, Saturn. Okay, the sun is right there on the first concentric circle. That's why it has the most energy. Nothing goes around the sun. How can it go around the sun if the sun's racing around here? You trying to tell me these planets go quicker than the sun? Don't be daft. Nothing passes the sun. No planets go around the sun. They all go around the black hole center. Just like the sun is going around the black hole center. You see Polaris? That's the nighttime image of the sun. It's going around the black hole center. 15 degrees per hour. Want to test me on that? Get your camera out, zoom into Polaris and watch it for 24 hours. Bit hard if you're not up in the Arctic during the winter months. That's exactly what's happening. Okay, so this Sagnac effect is this curvature, the magnetic field spiraling out of the north and all drifting west. It's all drifting west there. The earth doesn't move, it's all magnetism. Like I just showed you up here, it's all magnetism. It's the magnetic field. And if you get a ring magnet, you find it does this exact same thing. Even though it's not electromagnetic, but even more so, you'd find it more so if it was electromagnetic, I suppose. Understanding the three-phase induction motor. There's your gap. The gap's in here. Okay? Then all the magic is in this zone in here, in this tropical zone. That's what all of religion's about, because religion's physics. Christ is the sun. Right? Lots of names for it. Ra. Well, they say it's Ra at midday. Horus on the horizon as it comes up in the east, and Set as it sets at night in the west. And then when it's not seen, it's Osiris, but there's way more to it than that. Osiris represents the underworld, and that's the basis. That's where you've got to understand. Religion is all about the sun leading one to the Holy Land, his holy place. Okay? And, man is of the earth. So you could say this is man. This is man. This is his head. This is his feet. Okay? Well, you put the sun's dilemma in here. Are his feet on the banks of what is called the Jordan, the river? This is the river, the street or whatever. And you draw one in here as well. The feet are on the banks of the Jordan. Wash their feet on the banks. This is stuff people don't understand, you see. There's the head. There's the sun. There's man's pineal gland. There's his feet. There's his throat. It's the neck. You got the tropics coming all the way down to here. There's your 47 degrees, but it's not, is it? People don't realise it's 49.5 basically, which takes you into the Omar. Oh, what is it? The Jewish thing? Omar, 50 day or 49 or whatever. 49, then they count 50 for the restart, because it's all about this gap. The magic. The magic's in here. So you've got two of these. In reality, goes like this. That's the tropic. That's celestial tropical gap. Oh, there. But bring in focus. The feet of the Jordan. The feet of the Jordan. 7 degrees into the tropics. 7 degrees in the tropics. 7. It was 47. But it's actually that. But I don't get into that on this. It's on my Patreon if you want to know more. To lose this magnetic declination, the field, you got pure. You want to become pure. You have to be purified before you ascend, become God-like. It's all about the whole story stolen here. No declination in there. It's dead straight. So this latitude, latitude is equal to this latitude. equal. It's the same because there's no expansion here, no expansion here. It's just exactly the same. This is expansion. This is expansion or dilation. Dilation out of there. There's none between the tropics. People have to understand magnetism to understand the earthly system. Have I explained enough about this now? You've got to understand the effect of the drift, which is the Sagnac, space-time curvature, and then you get into time dilation, and go back to that experiment, that Hafele or whatever it is, and Keating experiment in 1971 about, they call them clocks. What do they call them? Atomic clocks or something. So if we just worked on the northern hemisphere, because you're dilating out, time is dilating out, you set your clocks at the same synchronize your clocks back here, and someone flies a direct line straight towards the south, and I haven't got it on my mind now. Anyway, the time, his time will be different to his time back here because of this dilation. So time has to speed up to get across there to equal this. So it gets rather confusing about time speeding up or slowing down and all that sort of thing. But when you think deep, you've got to understand, this time dilation thing, just like it's coming out of the Arctic here. You leave here with synchronized watches or clocks, because you realize as he's coming out of here, just as he's coming out of here, he's expanding. The aeroplane, everything gets bigger and bigger and bigger to this point here. But you go back to here. Everything expands to there, and then everything expands to there. They're both equal. From there, they're both equal. Okay? So this is all relative to the observer. Relative to the observer. And you've got to realize this is mirrored to there. So this is why we got the center Arctic here, right? 90 degrees. Well, you take that and flip it over to there. Well, that's going to become this, which is 66.5 degrees. Okay? The 90 degrees is out here. We've got to consider that too. Okay. So you got time dilation, expansion, allowing for this. This is how they come to create their GPS and all that, because they've made all the calculations according to this curvature here to work on a direct north to south. They've computerized the system to take out all this curvature and slack. So they know exactly where you are now at a particular time of the day, because it's all governed by the sun. The sun keeps time. Where's the sun? And remember, the sun is connected to the Milky Way. It spirals into that golden ratio. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. But we don't know this. This is diving deep, okay? All we know is it's going in between here. It's what you've been told, but all the ancients break it all down. It's like magnetism. You've got your overall magnetic cycle. Then you break it down. So there's one, singularity. Then you break it down to your duality, one there and one here. And then you can break it down again, because out here, between there and there, is your roaring 40s. There's another mild low pressure zone where the two high pressures meet and create this drama, frickin' wind, high seas. Okay? It's a no-brainer. You get in an aeroplane, cross the tropics. What happens when you get to this point here? You got this updraft and a downward field. That's the Arctic winds come back over to this drawing. Let's just work on one, shall we? Make one big one. One meridian, north to south. There's your tropical gap. You got the winds. The winds coming up here, going straight down there. You got the winds coming up, going straight down there. Then you got this draft coming up here because this is warm, low pressure. This is high pressure. So you get the electrostatics here, the friction, which is basically, you call it hydrostatics now, but it was hydrostatics from the high pressure Arctics. Boom. Well, does your human brain look like this a little bit? Do we have a northern or left and right hemisphere? What do you think's going on in the center of your hemisphere, your brain? Well, wouldn't you like your brain to do this? Find a syncing. If you want to understand more about that syncing, go read up about the gateway process, the CIA papers. And then you'll understand the word wisdom. How one gets wisdom. How one opens the third eye. That's the third eye. My next live, I've given you a lot of information here, but the next live is going to go more into the... So I'm going to be the first person in the world to show you what a magnetic field cycle is, or what it's doing, okay? You've seen everybody else's explanation. They never delve deep enough. They don't dive deep enough. Like, I'll tell you, you've probably all heard of Ken Wheeler, right? Well, I saw in his recent video, he's got the magnet there. He's got it south and north. And he's got an arrow here. What's going on there? There's nothing going on there. There's nothing between there and there. Oh, I thought he was going to touch on it and go into what I'm been waiting for. Because I'm going to be the first person to explain it all. Okay? And he's right. There's nothing going on there. If there was, well, first you've got to understand the asymmetry in magnetism. Asymmetry. If there was no asymmetry, life wouldn't exist on Earth. It's what creates the friction, what creates good and bad, male or female. Well, if they were even, they would both become, which they can't, because it's nature. There cannot be equilibrium where there's only singularity. Well, because singularity is the place of creation. We're not creation, we're the created. We've been split. We are now dual. There will always be a north and a south, no matter what, in our realm. But the secret is connecting this into here and that into there. You see, that's where we get the spark of our sun. Well, what if you got the spark of your pineal gland? Illuminate the pineal gland. Would they call it, could that possibly be called what was I going to say? Well, raising your kundalini. I forgot what I was going to say, actually. Well, basically illumination. It's this illumination of Earth. It's got a sun between there. What's wrong with illuminating yours? Is it not man of the Earth? Illuminate the pine. Oh, yeah. I was going to write this. People think they've got a soul. Well, yeah, we've all got a soul, but have you utilized it? Have you raised it? No. Until you raise your soul, you are brain dead. Now, the good thing about flat Earth is they're nearly there because they've got an open mind. They're on their way to raising their soul because, everyone who believes they live on a spinning ball, they're way down the rabbit hole. They're brain dead for many more lifetimes. Many more lifetimes. Yeah, reincarnation. We all go through reincarnating, recycling. Okay? Everything recycles until you reach your prana, until you raise your soul. Then you're a free man. You're actually a free man. You're a man. Become a living soul, a living man. We're not a living man until we raise the soul, until you get synchronicity, singularity in here. Understand this asymmetry is Plato's unequal divided line, isn't it? Unequal divided line. Almost 3:2, which is phi. 1.618. This is phi, the unequal divided line. And that takes you back to the golden ratio. It's all phi connected. Phi. Then delve into Jewish yod or yid, or it all takes you right back if you delve deep, right back to, well, they mentioned the 5, 1, 10, 5. Long story. Okay. So space-time curvature is the magnetic field of the Earth that's continuously flowing around the Earth as it comes out of the center Arctic. 15 degrees per hour. Well, you've got to realize the stars are moving this way just slightly less than 15 degrees per hour, because the sun's right there on the horizon of the black hole. So he's the master, he's the king. He's the king of the castle, you see. It's what we imitate. Everything on Earth imitates creation. Okay? So you go up on the 2D plane. There's your black hole. And right there on the horizon of the black hole is the sun. So I'm going to have to make it a bit bigger. There's your sun. Oh, that's black too. Make it blue. Blue. Which means the black hole is going to have to be 2/3 bigger. There's the black hole. It's on the plane. He's the king of the castle at the top, because there's your vortex. All the females are down here. Okay? The moon that's supposed to be the center gurgler. And then the other end of it goes over to this gap here where we see our sun. So all the stars and the moon are in here. They're doing their different cycles. Like the stars will be right there on the horizon, right there, slightly slower than the sun, because the sun's going around. This whole thing's turning. So the stars that are coming out of here, projected into our night sky, out in our realm, right there, just slightly slower than the sun, okay? Then you've got the moon doing its big cycle in here. So every time it comes back into here, it's new moon. So it's coming back into alignment with the sun. They become one. Because all this just collapses back to nothingness, back to one, back to the shit. Was all that in the... Sorry, it might not have been in the picture. So you've got to imagine the 2D and the 3D collapsing back to just the one plane. Okay, so it's just been extrapolated out, because this is 3D. This all came about at the same time Earth was created. Without this depth, we wouldn't exist. Because after the sun was illuminated, it created all this magnetic depth, which we see from down into here. It all comes from down in here. You can't see it from the side. It's just a 2D plane. Like in the magnet I was telling you about earlier, Ken Weller's under a ferrocell. There's nothing happening this way, is there? You can see all this 3D depth down inside here. Well, in the depth is this big cycle. When on a 2D plane, it's just concentric circles, basically. But that gets confusing too. Jeez, I need some water. Whoa. Where we were going? Anyway, full moon's out here. It's going around every day, but a monthly cycle, you just draw this S1S. And if you look down that way, from the top, there's your cardinoid. Because the sun has to go down and in, then it goes back up and out again. So then you get your figure 8, don't you? Well, that's what it looks like looking down from above. The apple. It's Einstein, Newton's BS and all that. Okay? And you've got to understand this ecliptic plane here does this. It's a vortex, so it contracts and expands. So it goes down, contracts down to go down and out for the December solstice, and then it goes back up and then bulges up for the June solstice. Okay? Then you black dot in the middle, black hole. So then you get the Eye of Ra, right? And that's all connected to Pisces too. It's a long story. So there's your bulge, and this is considered, it looks like an ice cream sort of thing. And you go look at the Queen's sovereign orb. That's what it's representing. Okay, the sovereign orb is also connected to the Egyptian is it the Dejret? Oh no, Hedjet. They'll Hedjet. Okay? There's this knob. It looks like a knob, and it is. It's representing a knob, because then you have that, you go deep into Egyptian mythology. And you got the old young boy standing there. Right? Like that. Was that, is this guy? I can't remember. It's all part of that. And it's also the dung beetle. If you go read the words carefully, you'll understand what it's referring to, but you probably won't. I'm going to do a video on this later. This thing here represents the southern hemisphere. This is the northern hemisphere. It's how this southern hemisphere contracts north and back again, swallowing the north. It's also the story in mythological stories such as the Iliad or the Odyssey, where they're battling the giants, because the giants all come from the south, because like I've said, everything expands, this dilation out in the south. So the southern hemisphere, look how big the southern hemisphere is, okay? So it all moves north. So you could draw it like this and like that. The phi ratio, let's say after the 19th of October, is completely separated to the 21st of December, but then it starts contracting in, which is the sun's inner limit, the tropical yearly cycle, moving north. South moves north to a point where it becomes balanced. And that's when we get the Physica Piscis. Ancients know all about it. You've got this, you've got the, like the knob I've just shown you, the old Hedjet, to become one, and then you get the dual crown. Okay, with the knob on top, the duality, become one, duality, Physica Piscis, upper and lower crown of Egypt. Nobody knows the story, only I know the story, okay? And people have a choice, they either believe me or they don't. And who gives a shit about the people who don't believe me? It's only those who seek will find the truth. And the brain dead will never get it. Yeah, I'm pretty straightforward. I don't pussyfoot around. I mean, you wouldn't call me the nicest guy on the internet, that's for sure. You get all these guys pushing flat earth or globe. The Americans, they're quite, I don't know, what's the word? Quite polite, really. But, Lindsay, he's not too polite. I mean, look how many years have gone past and everyone's been so ignorant. They haven't got the point. I've been given the mission to get the point out. So I think the man above knows what I'm like. He says, go for it, Lindsay. These guys are a bit thick. Go and push the truth. But don't waste your time on the ignorant. Just as all the Gnostic Gospels tell us, don't waste your time on the ignorant. Only those who seek shall find the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So I can talk all this stuff as much as I like because I know it's the truth. And people on the outside think I'm an idiot. They all talk behind my back, within my own family circles. They're all talking behind my back. But at the end of the day, I know I'm talking the truth. I know what I'm talking about. They're the ignorant ones. And they'll all pay the price at the end. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm out of here now. I've got to go do some work. Oh, any questions? Let's have a look. Oh, gosh, look, they've had about not many people here, eh? I've already explained rainbows yesterday. You should turn your phone sideways, Lindsay. Really? Oh, okay. Bit late for that, I suppose. Yeah. For some reason, I don't think you can do that on TikTok, can you? I don't know. Yeah, sorry. Do that next time, eh? G'day, Jeff. Yeah. So Einstein married his cousin twice before. He's good. Yeah. Yeah, well, when I came into my knowledge, my wife felt a bit left out, and off she went. Best thing that ever happened to me. People go, oh, sorry, Lindsay. Hey, don't be sorry for me, mate. Oh, you can be happy for me now. What do you think about Mikey Smith, Real Star Photos? Have you seen them? Real Star Photos? No. It might have been the guy filming them. You know, we filmed the stars because they're just basically solar luminescence, light in the moisture-filled atmosphere, just sparkling away there. And all the globe brain-dead theorists, all they can say is, you're not in focus, you're not in focus. No, you're in focus. Now, those guys don't know what the word focus means because their brain's not in focus. They're all projections, all holographic projections. Okay, once the sun's gone, out they come. You see them in the night. Yeah, not many questions today. Oh, well, at least I've got twice as many people than I had on YouTube. Anybody can see it now because it gets uploaded to my YouTube channel. So I'm out of here. See you later.